We're on page 3 and 4, and we cut 2 pieces that were 3 1/4 by 7 1/4. We labeled them both pockets. One was for page 3 and one was for page 4. Let's get our paper ready. In your paper pack, you will find this gorgeous print, and on the back it is this. Measure over 6 inches and cut. Since we are cutting for both sheets, we're just going to double these up. And we have them together. Measure over 8 inches and cut. So this is what you should have. You should have 2 pieces here that are 4 by 6, and we're going to need those. We'll just flip those over. And we have our page 3 and our page 4. Let's grab page 3 and 4 pockets. Grab your 1/4 inch score tape, and we're going to lay it at the bottom of each one of our decorative base pages here, and then we're going to burnish that down. If you would like to make your marks now, where what we did was we laid this so we had equal amount of overhang on each side, and what we had done is we went to the decorative paper and we went over about a 1/16 of an inch and made a pencil mark here and over here, and then we can score, and we can do the same thing on this one if you'd like, if you've had problems, if you've been making mini albums and the pockets are too tight. If not, you are good to go. Let's remove the score tape backing, and we're going to give it just a little bit of a bend, and we will bring it down to the bottom, press in the middle, and out, and we'll burnish. Let's do the same thing for this one. Okay, we're going to flip these over and just wrap your edges around the back of each one. We're going to tack our flaps down to the back. So we have attached our flaps. Really quick, while we have this turned over, let's put our score tape on the back. We'll go around the outside edges like a picture frame, one down the middle and one on either side for both of these. And I'm going to use my 1/4 inch. If you are using trim dies that you can lay down, go ahead and do so. I'm going to be using a different die and a different style, so I will show you what mine look like. I'm going to be using, in the petite pocket and accents, this plate. And when you die cut it out, it die cuts out, I still have to get some of my pokies out, all in one piece like this. So before I lay this down, I need to cut this down. But if you were using a trim like you've seen prior where we need to lay it down and hook it on first, lay your trim. Okay, let's trim to fit. This should fit side to side. And when you do, you're going to leave yourself about a 1/16 of a border of your paper, your cardstock. And what we're going to do, whoops, I just threw my pencil across the room. What we're going to do is come down to the bottom of the pocket, and we'll make our pencil mark, and we will trim. And we will do the same with this one. So let's do that. Apply glue and glue these down. If you are using the same die as me, we're just going to line that up with the top ridge of our pocket there. Apply our glue and glue that down. And we'll do the same with this side. Grab your cutout sheet back out from your reserves. We're going to cut out and around all the books. We're also going to cut out this piece, and while you're at it, let's cut out this one out and around. We have 3 pieces here. So what we're going to do first is, we already have this cut out right here where the 4th book ends. We're going to cut. We're going to stick that right over here. This book here, let's cut that off. Okay, we have 4 books here. We're going to put that right here. Not yet, but we're going to. And let's see here. There's that. Let's grab this book here. So we're just dividing right now our books where we want to use them. Okay, we're not going to glue this down yet, but we're going to getting real close to. Let's grab some scrap cardstock, and how these are going to place is right up next to each other like this. So we're going to glue these down, and you can leave yourself a little bit of a crafty border on your sides, bottom. We're going to glue this right up next to the other books. We'll bring it down, and we will cut out and around that so it will become one piece now. Over here, what you're going to do is these are going to be placed the same. We're going to glue this down to scrap, and we will cut out and around that. Let's work with these books here. Now this we're not going to cut out and around. What we're going to do is glue part of the side here underneath to right here, like this. So just a little bit. And am I getting the wrong side? Nope, I got that. And we'll come over here. Now up here it's going to be taller, so careful with the glue. So I'm going to flip mine over, so this is what it's going to look like. Let's come over here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the bottom, and we're going to follow this all the way up to about that flower. And we will press. Flower needs to come over. So we will be right here. And you can let your thing overhang 1/8 of an inch. Make sure you get down over there. And this should provide us with enough strength for sliding things back behind or this way. And I think that looks good. Okay, these books here, let's just set these off to the side somewhere in front of us where we don't lose them. Here's this side, and this is actually going to come out, let's see, like this. So more than half is going to be on this side, and we'll just kind of put that at an angle for us. Make sure no glue gets back here. Not yet anyway. And this is going to go right here. And so the bottom and up the side there. Oops, I'm going to bring this down. And we will overhang just a little bit there. Make sure no glue. So we can still get stuff in there. I have a couple leaves, and it's this one. And make sure that you get your glue on there pretty good. And we're going to bring it down in like this. So leave yourself a gap up there. This one, we're going to be like this, I think, like that. Let's just do it like this, and you can overhang some of your tips off the paper a little if you'd like. For flowers, I have 2 large and then a medium, which is a lighter color here. I'll put my prills in just a moment. And then I have a darker one, 2 darks, large, and 1 medium. And I'm just going to place this one up here. And I'll put my prills in there in just a bit. And I'll put that one down here. My prills are in, they are drying. I've got my stickles, and I think what I'm going to do is outline the tie here, and I'll let it dry before mounting this in my book. We'll do that. And over here, I think I will accent the vase, the lines in the vase there. Okay, page 3 and 4 are complete. And since we don't have to flip it over, we can just mount that right in our book, and we can leave our book open. All right, here is page 3. I am going to carefully get my score tape backing off. If you'd like to wait for everything to dry, like your stickles on your page or whatever you need, go ahead. I got the score tape backing off, and remember, when we place this, here's page 2, we're going to be 1/8 inch in from your hinge there. And it is on. So I'm going to burnish down the best I can without interfering with my stickles there. Now, for the duration, as you notice, I went with page 3 before 4, and that's fine now. The only reason why we did this second page first and then that is because of the chipboard covers are bigger than our inner pages, so it's just easier to line up page 1 once we get page 2 down. So what I'm going to do is remove my score tape, and I'm going to place this 1/8 inch in away from that hinge. Page 3 and 4 are in my book, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'd like to add, and I don't think there is. I think I like this the way it is. The only thing I can think of is maybe adding a few more flowers, but you can do that if you would like. So I'm going to leave my book open until it's all dry, and then I can turn the page. We are now on to page 5. We are on page 5 and 6. They are completed together. Let's go over our pre-cuts. We cut 2 pieces that were 5.5 by 8 inch, and we labeled the fold out. Each one we laid on our scoring board, so we were 5.5 inches across. We scored at 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch on each one of these. Next, we cut a 6.25 by 8.5 inch, and we called it a folder. We laid this so we were 8.5 inches across, and at 4.25 we scored. Let's get our paper ready. In your paper pack, you will find this gorgeous print, and on the back it looks like this. Let's turn our page. We're going to measure over 8 inches and cut. So this is what you should have. We're going to measure over 6 inches and cut that right in half. This is our page 5 and 6. Now, cut 2 pieces of your 3.5 inch wide lace that will fit top to bottom. Let's grab our glue. And I'm just going to pull this down just a little bit so I can see how wide I need to go. And I'm going to put a nice thick line of glue at the top. And I'm going to center that evenly side to side. This may take a moment for it to catch. Next, what I'm going to do is come down to the bottom and do the same thing. And we're going to do that with this one too. So let's get this ready. If you need binder clamps to help hold your lace in place while you do this, then do so. And I'm going to stretch mine to fit, make it nice and tight. Okay, let's give that just a couple minutes to dry. I'm going to put that off to the side. Let's grab our page 5 and 6, the 5.5 by 8 inch fold outs, and all we're going to do is fold and burnish on those score lines on each one of our fold out pieces. All right, let's grab our page, one of our pages. I'm grabbing my page 5, the one off to the left. We have an outside score line here that we're going to pinch on smooth that down, and we're going to attach it over our page. Hook it onto the back. And once you have it where it is, where it's supposed to be, we're going to pinch and hold it, and we're going to glue down our flaps. And we're going to do the same thing with this one, but we'll do that together. And I can push back on the other score line so I can fill, and it should be nice and flat on the side. Okay, this one on the outside score line, our flap is over here. We're going to pinch it. Whoops, getting in the way there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to line that up, pinch it, hold it, and attach our flap. And then we can push back on that score line over there when we feel our glue is holding. So this is what we should have so far. Let's open this up. We're going to need 2 magnets. I have a couple magnets here. Grab a couple pieces of scratch paper and just slide that right back behind your piece. Now don't take the adhesive part off. What we're going to do is we're going to apply glue and place that right in the middle of our lace. And we're applying glue to the metal side, giving it a bit of glue there. And what you're going to want to do is press it down, and you will wiggle this around and press again until all that glue is sopped up underneath each one. Okay, that's all we need to do. We're going to give that a moment to dry. Well, our lace, and looks like mine kind of wiggled up on me down here. I'm going to re-glue a little bit. There we go. Okay, in your pre-cutting and scoring guide, you should have had envelope number 1, template number 1. If you haven't done it already, let's cut out and around our template. Set your envelope off to the side after you've cut it out. We're going to need that to finish up on this. But for now, let's find our paper. In your paper pack, you will find this print. And on the back, it is green. Let's turn our sheet, measure over 7 7/8 inch and cut. Measure over 4 5/8 inch and cut. That piece we're going to stick right on over there. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to measure over 4 5/8 inch and cut again. Okay, we are going to apply glue, and we're going to glue that down over here, being mindful of our score line so we have a nice craft border around our piece. Over here we'll do the same. We'll apply glue and we'll glue that down and burnish. Okay, let's close that up. Let's grab a couple magnets. The first one, what we're going to do is we're going to let it find the mate on the left-hand side. So I'm going to remove the adhesive here. And because it's adhesive down, I'm just going to let it find its mate there. And no worries about this. We have something to go over the middle parts. So we're just going to snap that shut for now. Let's grab our folder that we cut. Okay, all we're going to do is fold on that score line there. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay this down, and we don't want the side to go over the edge. We're just going to do slightly at an angle. And we're going to let the mate find it right like that so we know where this is supposed to go for us. So hold your piece down And make sure this doesn't slip on you. And let it find the mate. So now we know where this is supposed to go, this folder that will hold this down. We can stick this off to the side. Let's find our paper for this. In your paper pack, you will find this. On the back, it looks like this. Let's turn our page, measure over 7 7/8 inch and cut. Measure over 4 5/8 inch and cut. Measure over again 4 5/8 inch and cut. So my camera, I thought I had turned it on. So once you cut your panels, if you're not using any trims or whatever, you can just glue them down. I am using in the decorated pocket accents these pieces, and this one has a slit. So what we're going to do is we're just going to apply glue, and I'm going to line up my pages so they kind of get the same here, and I'm going to bring it all the way up, trying to keep them semi-even. And then what I'll do is I'll apply glue and I'll glue that down. Let's open this up. I think our glue on our magnet is ready to be worked with. In your paper pack, you will find this on the back. It looks like the leather paper. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out and around this one. And I'm also going to grab this one and this one. I've got all mine cut out, and as you can see, I have it fanned like this. The biggest one, the green, the tan, and then this one. And if I place it down, you can kind of see how far out they are kind of fanned. You can bring it in a little more. So while I'm holding it, all I'm going to do is put some glue so they will attach. Alright, let's take, and that should be pretty stiff to where you're, just make sure that you get it all there. I'm going to remove the backing off one of these. And I'm going to place this. Grab this back out. Let's cut out and around this one. And I am in the mood to dissolve the sky. Let's get those out. Okay. What we're going to do is just apply glue to this one, and we'll just place it centered side to side right there in the middle. I have such the hardest time getting that off, and we'll place it right there. Let's try our fold out, and it should hold very nicely, and it will pull up on this, so just make sure you have enough glue. It won't hurt nothing. Alright, let's close this side up. Let's get our folder, which the magnet should be up, and our opening over here. So let's get our paper for here. In your paper pack, you will find this print. On the back, it looks like this. So let's turn this sideways, measure over 6 inches, and cut. This is what you should have. Flip it over upside down from this side, measure over 4 inches, and cut. Let's apply glue, and we're going to glue that down right over that magnet. I think that's going to look good. Let's remove this and set these up off the way. Let's open it up. Pull this back out of reserves. You should have writing on the other side. Measure over 4 inches and cut. Let's apply glue and glue these down to the inside. This is what you should have. Let's close that up. Let's let the magnet find the mate. Now we're just going to lift up over here and run some glue along the back side. And that's what's going to help keep this from lifting. And I went halfway up under this. So that'll help keep that there. And I think that looks really good. Grab some of your leaves, and we are going to glue that down. Make sure that none of these poke over the side, because it will stop your fold out from opening. And then what I have is 2 large petals, and this is the light one. And we're going to glue that down right here. And then I have a very small single layered dark one. And it's going to go right like this. So I have mine all glued down. My pearls are still wet. On your cutout sheet, let's snip out this piece here. And we're going to cut out and around it. And we're going to slide that up underneath the leaves. Or actually the petals, I should say. On your cutout sheet, you will find this. Let's cut out and around and make a small tuck on our page fold out here. So let's cut out and around that. We're not going to back this. All we're going to do is make a tuck. So if you want to put a picture, you can still slide it back behind. So underneath this left side, we will go a line and along the bottom. And we will place that. And you should still be able to get your picture back behind. And I think that looks really good. I've clipped off a single leaf from one of my leaves. And I'm just going to place it down here. I've got a very small medium sized flower. And I'm just going to stick that right there. Grab a piece of your 65-pound cardstock, and we're going to take our template, and it should fit like this. We're going to outline our template onto our 65-pound cardstock, and then we're going to cut it out. All you have is the heavier weight. You don't have 65-pound, you can use that. So you can use your scoring board to score it or do it by hand. I'm going to show you by hand. So what you're going to want to do is pull in your sides until they are even with the other side, as best you can anyway, like so. Flip this around, we'll do the same thing here. Okay, this one the same, we're going to pull it up till it is even over there. And then here. Perfect. So as you can see, our little envelope comes out nice. Okay, we're going to get in our reserves to cover some of this. In your reserves, you will find this piece, and on the back, it looks like this. This piece, we're going to use up some scraps here to take care of this. This piece is approximately 2 3/4 by 7 7/8. So we are going to be covering this part, and I guess you can just use your thing here. We're going to move it all the way down until we are at the edge from behind, and we'll need our pencil again. I always lose mine. It just doesn't like me. It just walks away. Here it is. And all we're going to do is trace. And then we're going to cut out and around. Now when you cut, make sure you cut just a little bit on the inside of that line. So I have mine here, and what I'm going to do is check to make sure I fit. And I do, and I still have a little bit of a crafty border. If you don't, just make sure that it works. And we'll apply glue, and we will glue this down. Whatever you have left of this, what we're going to do is just cut straight on over. Whoops. And we'll have something to tuck in here, like a little tag or journaling, or even use this as a little picture mat. So we'll set that off to the side. Let's grab in our reserves again. And in your reserves, you will find this piece, and on the back, it looks like this. The measurements of this is about 3 1/8 by 7 7/8. And let's see, it's going to be a little off, so we're going to go this way. Just place it to where it's even with the side here. I think we'll be able to get 2 out of this. And we will trace. There's 1. And then what I can do is just turn this around and trace here. Okay, let's cut these out. And I'll put this scraps back in my reserves. So these pieces should fit, if not trim it to fit. And we're going to glue those down. Once you have yours down and burnished down, this is going to come up over. So take a look at where this top part hits and just place some glue. And if you'd like to slide something back behind, like some sort of scrap paper to help out so you don't glue it shut, you can do that. Make sure I didn't glue it shut there. Perfect. Now let's get for the closure. In your reserves, you will find this piece on the back. It is green. And what we're going to do is slide this, and we're going to slide it to where that is all the way over to the side. And we're going to trace. So this will look kind of cool. Okay, I am going to cut this out. Once you cut it out, verify you're to fit. If you need to do any trimming, do so. And then let's glue this down. And there is our envelope. I'm going to stick this in there for now. Let's open this up. And we'll slide that in. Perfect. So now we'll place our score tape on the back, all the way around like a picture frame, 1 down the middle, 1 on either side, and you can go ahead and place that in your book whenever you're ready. We are on page 7. Let's go over our pre-cuts. We cut 6 pieces that were 4.5 by 5 1/4, and we called it a waterfall. What we did was we laid each piece so that it was 4.5 inch across our board. We scored each one at a 1/2 inch. Next, what we cut was a 1.5 by 6.5, and we called it a strap. We laid this on our scoring board, and we scored at 5 7/8 and 6 inches. Let's get our paper. In your paper pack, you will find another one of these in our second paper pack. On the back, it is this print. Looking at our paper like this, measure over 8 inches and cut. Now, measure over 6 inches and cut. This piece here, let's just flip these over. Actually, we're going to go a different route with this. This piece here is our page 7. This one we're going to set off to the side for our page 8. So let's work with this. First thing that we want to do is on all 6 of our waterfalls, all we're going to do is fold back and burnish that score line on each one of these. So let's do that. Now we're going to have the peak up, and we're going to take our 3/8 inch score tape and we're going to lay it right on that little flap up there on each one of these, and we're going to burnish it down really good, and then we'll clip off any overhang of score tape. I have all the score tape on my piece. Let's flip this over. So this is the side that you're going to want, and how this is going to lay is we're going to just kind of stack them all up. So I'm going to give you a measurement really quick here. If I can find my ruler, the bottom of your page, when we lay this down, we're going to measure up. So 3/4 of the way up, we'll just put a line. So when we place this first one, the bottom of our piece is going to hit that line. And when we look at this, we want to have this centered. So even amounts of our decorative paper showing on each side. Oh, my dogs are crazy again. I've removed the score tape backing and I am pushing it back behind. And I'm just going to come down to that line, trying to stay even as I can. I'm looking side to side and I'm going to place it and burnish here. Let's grab our next one. We'll remove the score tape backing. And this is real simple. You're just going to bring it all the way to the edge of our paper, making sure we are lined up straight. And we're going to place it and burnish. And we're going to keep going with these. It's real simple. I'm going to pull this back so I can kind of see what I'm doing. We'll line it up and place it. If you get yours on a little crooked, it's not the end of the world. And we got one more after this. Now look at the top. If you are a little cattywampus, this is where you can kind of correct to try to straighten yourself up. So and this is what we should have. And this should flip up and back, just like that. Now your page, you can kind of give it a little bend because it's going to be very stiff right now. But once we have this down in the book, we're going to have our strap, and our strap is going to go right like this, so to help keep it down. Okay, we're going to need 2 magnets. So let's grab one here and come up about 1 inch in the center somewhere and place it. Let's grab our strap. And first things first, what we need to get for that, in your reserves, you will find your cutout sheet. And we are going to carefully just cut this right on out, the bookmark. Also on the bookmark, I detached mine. Let's use this. Isn't about the words we use, it's about the emotions, and we'll cut out around that too. Alright, I got my pieces cut out. In your reserves you will find this. It is 12 inches across. On the back it looks like this. So let's just flip that over where we can see that. So all we're going to do is we are going to place this down on this and the pencil mark. Bringing it all the way over, and we're going to draw a line and we're going to cut. And then what we'll do is we will place this around and we will cut out the same shape. And I will show you mine. Okay, so here is mine, and we have this. Let's grab this and we are going to apply glue. Again, our flap is at the top. That's the way we're looking at it right now. So the flat edge will go up here. And what we're going to do is center that side to side. You'll be able to see a little bit of the, maybe a little bit of the cardstock. And it will come down like this. And now all we have to do is cut at an angle. I've got mine on. Let's attach this now. Now let's take our piece. Our flap is down at the bottom, and we're going to attach this like we do our fold outs. We have an upper score line and a bottom score line. On that bottom one, we're going to pinch and we're going to hook it back behind. Now, before you do anything, make sure where you're pinching and holding, you can feel your magnet is squared in the center up there. So once you have that, let's flip it over and glue down that flap, like we've been doing with our fold outs. Okay, I have mine attached. I'm just going to push back on that. So this is the part where we're going to grab a mate. And I must have used the wrong little thingamabobbers because mine's going down. But what you're going to do is you can put a dab of glue in the center. Now hold this down flat because this is going to want to buckle up on you. Bring this over. Make sure you're flat down here too, and let it fall naturally. And press. Now you know where this magnet is supposed to place. So I'm going to just go wider with my glue and I will stick it down. Alright, now let's remove or put glue on yours if you're the right way. This piece here, we're going to apply glue and glue this down. And you should not be anywhere on your hinge. I think I measured it correctly there. Mine's working out pretty good. And we'll burnish. So now, if our page is in the book and it's flat, that should be latching us shut. Okay, let's start cutting for our individual pages. In your paper pack, you will find this gorgeous print, and on the back it is the writing. Measure over 5 inches and cut. Measure over again 5 inches and cut. This is what you should have, and what we're going to do is just double these up, turn them sideways. Measure over 3 3/4 and cut. Measure over 3 3/4 and cut, and measure over one more time 3 3/4 and cut. So we have these pieces. We're going to set those off to the side. In your paper pack, your second one, you will have another one of these, and on the back it is this. What we're going to do, looking at it like this, is we are going to measure over 5 inches and cut. Measure over again 5 inches and cut. So we have 2 pieces here. We're going to double these up. Measure over 3 3/4 inch and cut. Measure over again 3 3/4 and cut. Measure over one more time 3 3/4 and cut. This is what you should have. Let's flip it over. We are ready to go. If you want to place trim on your first one, let's cut a piece of cardstock that is 5 1/4 inch wide, and then you can die cut. I have die cut this, and this is out of my Ornate Borders and Pockets, and it's this image up here. So I am going to apply glue. I will match that up and glue that down. Now that I have my trim down, and you're not going to want to do all your trim, just the first one will work. I got that on a little crooked. We're going to apply glue to one of these, and we are going to center that up there, and we'll glue that down. The next part is easy. We're going to alternate between these two. So our next one right here will be this. Then the next one will be this. The next, and the next. So let's get all those down. I think that looks really good. My camera's bouncing around. Let's flip this up, and we're going to alternate. So this one here, and so forth. So let's get those glued down. All of mine are down. Let's grab this little sentiment here, and we're just going to go one side, so in case we want to use it as a tuck. And we will place that right here. Alright, let's just pull all these back down. They look good. Alright, so what we want to do is we're going to flip this over. We're going to apply score tape around the outside like a picture frame. We're going to go 1 down the middle and 2 on either side of that because we're so bulky here and heavy. Let's finish this up. And I've got a green leaf that I'm going to glue down here. I have 2 of the darker medium or medium-sized petal, or you can use whatever colors that you have. I'm going to place that right here, and I've got two of the smallest lighter, and I'm going to glue those right there. On your cut apart sheet, let's cut out and around this one. Once we do this, then we can place this in our book. We're just going to slide that right up underneath there. This page is complete, and we will, as soon as my pearls dry, I will be placing this in my book. Let's move on to page 8. We are on page 8, and this page, this is what's going to show up. There is no pre-cutting for this, so really quick, let's line this side with our score tape around the outside like a picture frame, one down the middle and one on either side. I got the score tape on, let's just flip that over. Cut out template, envelope template number 2. Once you have that in your paper pack, you will find this print on the back. It is this. Now we need a larger because this is well bigger than I think 8.5 by 11. And let's just flip this around. What we want to do is bring this all the way to the top of our page, and we're going to bring the side lined up with the side of that. Now let's draw out and around and cut that out. Okay, so one thing I want you to do so we can conserve a nice paper is once you've traced that, stick this on your paper cutter, and you see where the line side of this is over here, just cut straight down so that we can have a nice panel piece right here for anything that we might need for the next 2 pages possibly, or our picture mats. I have mine cut out. Now let's grab your scoring board now that you have this, and what I would like you to first do is turn this so that your bottom is on your board. Keep you straight. Now you line up a score line with the corner of this right here over here, and we are going to score all the way down. So here's my line. I'm gonna go right here. Okay, over here we're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to try and stay straight right in the corner, and I'm going to score. Now turn this so this flat edge hits your scoring board, and line up right here at the corner with a score line. And I think I got one right there. And we are going to score all the way across. Whoops, I am cattywampus. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you so far what we have. We will score this part in just a moment. First, let's just fold that up. Okay, and these sides we're going to fold in. If you need to rescore it and line yourself up, do so. And what's going to happen is on this score line, these are going to come up, and it's going to give you a nice little envelope. So while you have it like that, put that on your scoring board, and right here at the top, give yourself some room, at least put in this and have a space in between so the side of this hits here, and you will score. And you can fold over now. So we just made a really pretty decorative style of a envelope. Okay, this is what we want to do now, is we're going to take our glue. You may want a scratch piece of paper to slide in here. And I'm going to remove my scoring board now. And we're going to pull that up and burnish. If you have any pencil marks showing, then you can do that. So I think that looks really good. And we have a nice size envelope there. We're going to have this, and this is going to slightly be off the page to the right, not the left. And we want to make this like a pocket. So under here, let's start over here under this side. We're going to go here, and we're going to go over here. Now remember, we're going to be off the page some here. So what you're going to want to do is first lay this down at an angle. We'll get that down first. And this is okay to hang out like that. Just make sure you bring it in. And now we can see that we just go down right here. And our pocket envelope works. Let me grab something from reserve so we can stick things back behind there. Let's grab a couple magnets and we'll flip that up. And we're going to place one. Now when you place this, you're going to come all the way up just to about where that meets over there without going over. We'll place that on top. And for whatever reason, if it does not make it to the paper and it's a little up here, we'll fix that. But I think it's going to make it just fine. Okay, be careful not to tear. Okay, let's get something for this and this. Cut out and around your teapot. And we are going to cut out and around, let's see here, the tea. One more thing you're going to want in your cut-aparts is this little green tag. And then we'll assemble this all together to where it looks nice. Okay, first things first, let's grab our little tag. We will apply our glue. And it's going to come right under here, so you will have partially exposed right here of your magnet. Now these two, just kind of collage them together like this, and we will add glue back behind so it stays. Whoops, I got a little crazy. Our teapot is going to be lifted up, so look where you need to go back behind and bring it up. One thing is, you might want to use some scratch paper just in case you get a little crazy with your glue. And we're going to press that down. Looks good. And that looks good. Grab some of your leaves and we'll stick that right down there in the corner like this. We'll grab a flower. I have 2 large or 2 medium work, whatever you have. And we're going to glue that down there, and then I have a single small, and that's going to go there. This page is complete. I'm going to wait for my prills to dry, and then I'm going to mount this in my book. Let's move on to page 9 and 10, our final pages. We are on page 9 and 10, and we complete those together because they are the same. And what we did was we cut 2 sheets that were 5.5 by 8 inches. We labeled that for page 9 and 10, fold outs. On both of these, all we did was lay it down on our scoring board, 5.5 inches across. We scored at 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch. On each one of these. Let's get our paper ready. In your paper pack, you will find this print. On the back, it is this. Let's turn this, measure over 8 inches and cut. Now, measure over 6 inches and cut. This is what you should have on both of our fold outs. Let's fold on all those score lines and burnish. We are going to attach these, so you'll have your flap off to the right and a flap off to the left. On that outer score line, we're going to pinch it, smooth it out, and we're going to attach it like we have been. So as soon as you get that lined up, pinch and hold, and you know the routine. Let's glue down that flap. And we're going to do the same thing on the other one. And we'll do that together to make sure that everyone gets it on the right way. And we will push back on that score line and in. So we are nice and flush over there. Same thing, our flap is over here this time, outer score line, and we're going to attach. Oops. And we'll crease back on that other one, push it. Perfect. Let's open this up, and this is all for photo placement and journaling. Let's grab some magnets. Okay, come in about 3/4 of an inch on the middle over there. And we're also going to be over here and do the same thing. So what we end up doing for this one, we're going to do the same over there. Let's grab the mate to our magnet, and we're going to close that. We're going to flip it over to the back side and let it find the mate. Now we know where that needs to place, and we're going to place it. So I'm going to let it find itself and click. And we'll do the same with this one. Both my magnets are on the back. Let's open this up, and we're going to find our paper for the inside. In your paper pack, you will find this print. On the back, it is this. Let's turn that sideways. Measure over 7 7/8 inch and cut. Now what I want you to do is measure over 4 3/8 inch and cut off this side. Then what you'll do is turn it upside down, bring your leftover, measure over 4 3/8. And I'll show you what mine looks like. Now all we have to do is apply glue to the back of these and center them side to side and glue them down. I've got mine down. Let's close that up. If you want to place your trim now, go ahead on each one. The dies I'm using are from the Regal Borders and Pockets, and I've got mine ready to go. Here's a tip about using this, and you don't need that thick like I have, but you're going to have to move it back down, and then you're going to be laying your paper over the other. So I'm going to get mine ready to go here. Otherwise, the tip is going to be touching past, and you don't want it past. You can go to the edge. Okay, let's get our paper for this. In your paper pack, you will find this print. On the back, it is this. Let's turn it sideways. Measure over 7 7/8 inch and cut. Measure over 4 1/2 inches and cut. So on this leftover, we'll flip it upside down, measure over 4 1/2 inches, and cut. Let's apply our glue, and we're going to glue these down. Cut out envelope template number 3. And in your paper pack, you will find this print, and on the back, it is the writing. So what you're going to want to do, and you don't want to do it on your scoring board, of course, but I'm going to show you, is you are going to turn this to where this part is at the top. And we're just going to cut from this side, I think, and we're going to use our pencil and outline it. And then we're going to cut it out. So here is our envelope. What we're going to do is lay that on our scoring board with the flat side here, and the nose of the fold there. We're going to line this up with a scoring line, and we'll score there. Sorry about that. I got my dogs, and they're boisterous today. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it at this flat edge, and right here at where it meets the corner, we're going to score that all the way up here. And we're going to do the same over here, lining it up and scoring. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to fold back so far so you can see what we're doing here. And we will fold this up. Ooh, those dogs are driving me crazy. Okay, now that we have it there, line this up. At the top here where your piece meets, we can just score right across, and this will fold over. Okay, let's get this done. So this only goes up to a certain part of our fold in, so we're just going to apply glue to that part. And we will fold that in. And for this, there are no magnets. This is just an open piece. Alrighty, let's see where I want to place this. Let's go right on in, and we have to be careful of where our magnet sits. So I'm going to be placing this right here, and I'm going to leave it so I can still tuck a picture or picture mats back behind. So I'm just going to go down and over, and I will place that, making sure you don't get into your hinge area. And we don't need a magnet, this holds it all shut. Let's get some leaves, and for me, I have one of these, and I'm just going to cut it in pieces here. And I think I'll cut right up in here. And I'm going to glue those down. I think when I glue this one down, I'm going to have these angled this way. And any flowers that you have, grab. I'm going to do a single layer with the lighter right here. And I'm going to go with a small dark one. I think I'll place that. Where do I want that? I think I'll go right here. Up here, I think I'll do the same with the lighter, and I still need to get my pearls in there. I think once I get this in my book, I'll do that. A darker medium. Just grab, you don't have to do exactly what I do, so you can just grab whatever it is that you have. Okay, so before I put my pearls in there, I'm definitely going to flip these over. I'm going to apply score tape around the outside like a picture frame. One down the middle and one on either side. And I'm going to place these in my book. And you will definitely place page 9 and then your 10 on the back chipboard. I like the way that looks. And it is time to move on to installing the rest of the drits so that we can close our album. And remember, we don't do the picture mats together, but we did make one that had the magnet on it, so that is a good size. But I'm a cropper, so I like to make smaller size of various sizes as well. So let's move on to installing our drits. Let's install our drits. So what you're going to want is your hook now, and you're just going to be placing ribbon in through here, and we will close it. So let's start that. I'm using some really thin stuff here, and I'm just going to make sure that I have enough to get there. Okay, so we're going to, here's the hook underneath, we're just going to go up and down through. Now sometimes on these hooks, right here, sometimes we need to clamp it shut a little bit more. So with mine, I'm just going to grab it and hopefully not pinch myself and just kind of close those a bit more. If you're using a thicker ribbon, it really doesn't matter much. So I have these and they are even. I'm going to hook that on. But the idea of this is not to cinch it. because we have not done our picture mats and we don't do them together, but you want to leave yourself enough room for those picture mats. So you want to be able to wiggle these a bit, but not so loose that you're all over the place. Okay, if you plan on putting a lot of photos, you may want to leave that. So I'm just going to make sure that these are straight out in front, and I'm bringing this over straight, and I'm going to pinch it over where I need it. Now I can unattach that. Now glue is always the best thing. I'm going to use some hot glue, and if you do that, please be very careful not to burn yourself. I use a low temp so that I can get my hands in it without blistering myself. And I have some tails, and I'm just going to trim them up. Now if you don't want any tails, you don't have to have them. I'll just leave a couple here. I'm going to grab some leaves and I'll pull my tails down, and I'm going to glue this down right like that to cover it. Now you don't have to do this. You can put a button, you can put one of the cutouts, perhaps some of the books, whatever it is that you would like. I have a couple medium flowers, and I'm just going to layer that right on there. And there is the back. Now also back here, like we did on the front, I'm not sure if I did it or not in the beginning, but what we can do now is lay some of our heart and then some of our bling if you would like to do the back. I'm going to leave mine alone. I'm just going to have the front done, but that is an option for you. Our album is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please be sure to comment below each part to let me know that you were there. I will be leaving here in a couple days for Tennessee for a couple weeks, and then I'll be back to start my next project. Happy crafting, everybody. Until next time.